Welcome and ting and ting and ting. Mr. Giant back with another reaction for you all. Another Irish video coming up here. And this one, I know I'm going to bring it a little bit of social commentary type vibe, Irish election inside Dublin's central colourful race. You understand what I'm saying? So, let me see what the politics is like there. You know what I mean? In Ireland, If I'm going to travel there, I need to know all aspects of it, I'm going to probably do a video on the laws there because I man don't want to break the laws. I man don't want to step on no toes and thing when I visit them places and all of that, all right? So let's go ahead and YouTube and simmer and see what they say about it. Comment down below. Give me your vibe, what you see, since you live in it and I'm observing it, all right? Let's YouTube and simmer.
We spent 3 days in the inner city constituency of Dublin Central.
You again, sick looking at you.
Trying to decipher what this place tells us about the Irish general election on Friday.
And one last supplementary question. Are you knackered?
Not at all. I'm more really energised, I can assure you of that.
Other questions. Why is this reputed gangland boss running for office here?
I've made me money too, property.
Is this candidate a Russian asset?
What a load of shite.
Can we percolate any of this into a coherent thought about Irish democracy? No, we cannot.
Have you noticed that in almost every election, in every country, Russia always comes up there? Have you noticed that? Like, every time you have an election, especially in the bigger countries, like Ireland, UK, the US, there's always a thing of Russia. Now, are they actually involved or is it just a fair tactic? You know what I mean? It seems like we have slipped back into the 1950s where you have one side here and the other side there, and everybody's proclaiming on one side or the other that side is interfering in their elections. You know what I mean? I remember in the 80s and stuff when everybody was when they had the two main superpowers, and especially in South America, you have the US on one side, Russia on one side, who is giving who arms and who is trying to take over what, and it seems to have shifted a little bit from military stuff to political stuff, which is, I think, is even more precarious because the common people don't know what's going on the inside. You see what I'm saying? If there's a military conflict, then you're in the middle of it, you understand? But when it's political, all that behind the scenes vibes and who is doing this and who is lobbying this, you really don't know what's going on. You only know what they're telling you. So, you know what I mean? I just find it ironic, well, maybe not ironic, I just find it telling that whenever you hear elections in a country, you hear Russian behind it, you know what I mean? In some capacity.
Jesus loves you, my friend. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
There are 13 candidates running for 4 seats in the Dublin Central constituency. It's one of the country's most socially and ethnically diverse places. Set the scene for the Easter Rising in 1916 through to the Dublin riots in 2023. They were synonymous with growing anti-immigrant sentiment in Ireland. Record numbers of refugees and migrants arriving here in the last 5 years, and many into working class neighbourhoods like these. The leader of Sinn Féin, Mary Lou MacDonald, expected to keep her seat here.
So how are you doing? You're not wearing your chain now, I see.
Come here, Lou. I'd be moved if I wore that.
Sinn Féin's left-leaning pro-migrant stance was seen by some as a betrayal. Then the day after the riots, MacDonald called for the Irish Police Commissioner and Minister of Justice to resign, perceived by some as using the riots for political gain. Since then, Sinn Féin has spoken about not putting asylum accommodation in poorer communities.
Why on earth would you bring another cohort of very vulnerable people who need support into areas that are living hand to mouth? That doesn't make sense.
Did you call it wrong after the riot?
No, I mean, I think I recognise just how badly things had descended in our city that I don't think any of us who grew up here, who live here, ever thought or expected that you would see scenes like that, and I hope we never see it again.
Up over the roofs of the council blocks in Dublin Central, the glass houses of the Irish tech sector. Ireland is quids in at the moment with money from windfall and corporate tax receipts. Against the backdrop of a housing crisis, all the parties promising to build thousands of new homes.
Thank you very much for coming out.
Come from Armagh.
Pascal Donoghue is one of Fine Gael's big beasts, part of the ruling coalition, also expected to retain his seat in Dublin Central. What manifesto commitments would they ditch if a Trump presidency and promised tariffs shrunk the Irish economy?
So certainly what I would be aiming to do is, in such an environment, aim to continue to prioritise public capital investment, in investing in more homes and investing in greening our economy. After that, were we in that environment, many of the commitments that are in our manifesto that we are going to the Irish people looking for support for, you'd need to phase then in over a 5-year period. It would inevitably involve choices, but I'm confident we can make the case for that were we in government at that time.
Then from macroeconomics to micro-constituency politics.
I mean, you're literally running alongside a alleged gangland boss.
Yeah, I think it's a particularly extreme case of diversity here in Dublin Central now.
Jerry the Monk Hutch is also running for a seat in Dublin Central.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me in the comment section. It doesn't seem to be as contentious as other places. You know what I mean? I know you have the riots and stuff that happen, but the election itself doesn't seem to be as contentious. Or maybe this report is not emphasizing that side of it. I'm not sure. Please comment down in the comment section. No, it seems that it's the same sort of issues. Immigration, the housing situation, they talk about that. Poverty, they talk about that. The question is, if this thing is a worldwide thing, this one point, where is that stemming from? Do we blame the people that's in that situation? Do we blame the people that's working paycheck to paycheck for that situation? Do we blame the power structure for that situation? Do we blame outside influences, including immigrants, for that situation? You know what I mean? Who is to blame? Or is there anybody to blame? See, and this is the reason why I like reacting to history and culture and stuff, because when you really look at it, it's not that much different all over the world. There's a group of people working hard, paycheck to paycheck, blue-collar workers, struggling to make ends meet, and then there's a small minority that is, doing just fine. You know what I'm saying? So not so much for looking to who to blame, but what is the issue that's creating that? You know what I mean? And another thing too is that I think people have to start realizing that it's a world now. No country could be an island unto itself. We are so interwoven with trade and swapping of culture and swapping of people that nobody could just be themselves. You know what I mean? You could be proud of who you are, be proud of your culture and stuff, and maintain that culture. But every country needs every country. My little island wouldn't survive without the help of other countries. There's just too much trade and there's just too much interactions going on for people to believe that if you have all power, or if you're a first world country, that you don't need anybody else, because everybody needs somebody. And that boils down to simple human connection and interactions. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to this here.
Got the nickname because his frugal image didn't match what you'd expect from someone at the centre of a gangland feud.
Garda appear powerless to stop them, and all because two tribes are at war.
The Kinnan and Hutch gangs fought it out here, terrorised this neighbourhood. Multiple shootings, armed police at checkpoints. At the boxing gym he started, the monk answered a small number of pre-agreed questions.
Is it fair to ask a would-be representative how they made their money?
I've made me money
fair
through
question
property.
for me to ask you?
I've made me money through property, through deals over the years.
What kind of deals?
Property deals, buying, selling property.
Is that it?
That's it.
And when you become TD then, if you become TD, you'll have to declare all your financial interests in your assets. Will you do that?
If I become a TD, I'll be turning a new leaf in my life. And I'll be working for the next 4 or 5 years for the people.
It's unlikely that the monk will win a seat, but his presence on the ballot paper speaks to something bigger. The rise of the independent candidate in Irish elections. There are many reasons for this.
Migration policy is not working.
Some, like Malachy Steenson, coalescing around the issue of immigration.
The numbers of people.
Others, like Claire Daly, making the case for socialism. The former MEP has over the years been accused of voting in line with Russian foreign policy.
So for the record, are you a Russian asset?
No, for the record, no, I'm not. I'm not pro-Russian, I'm not anti-Russian. I'm pro-peace.
Again and again, housing comes up on the doorstep. This young mother sleeps in the same room with her 3 children.
So you're looking at, so housing is the biggest issue for you?
Yeah,
then,
if you get in with a please address the housing, because there's too many of us in the house here and we're really struggling. We can't get anywhere bigger.
That's, and what this is a 2-bed?
2-bedroom, and there's myself, my son, my 2 daughters is in with me. Yeah.
And you've probably been on the list for ages, have you?
Yeah, and we have a medical priority and we still can't get anywhere.
One of the big questions in this election, what impact independence will have on other parties' vote.
The greening of specific areas of the constituency.
I'm listening to the lady talk, and just a little light thing here. She's saying, my son, my other child, and that's something we say at home too. We say me instead of my for a lot of the cases. And I always wondered, how that come about. So there's a little bit of Irish twang or Irish slang involved in it there, because we say me instead of my in a lot of cases. I just wanted to point that out.
Aside from Sinn Féin and Fine Gael, the Greens' Nessa Howrigan is defending her seat here, as is Gary Gannon of the Social Democrats.
It's proper community representation, proper national solutions to our societal ills, particularly around housing and healthcare.
Once upon a time, Dublin Central was a Fianna Fáil stronghold.
I'm Mary Fitzpatrick, and I want us to move forward together.
Their candidate, Mary Fitzpatrick, though, far from guaranteed a seat.
Please vote Mary Fitzpatrick.
At the Dublin portal, O'Connell Street, a live feed of other cities, a mirror for Dublin Central. And like the new politics of this place, no one quite sure what will happen next.
No, that was quite interesting. That was quite interesting. Another thing I've noticed too is there's a lot of different parties that you could choose from. Comment down below what's the difference there, because in my country, where I'm from, my little island, you have several different parties that you could choose from, you understand, whereas in certain places there's just 2 parties that you could choose from. But that was quite interesting. It only was a 7-minute video, so they couldn't go into details and stuff like that. But I'm going to react to another video that's like that, man. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to leave the link for this video in the description. So, if you want to learn about Irish politics a little bit, there's just a taste into it. You could go research it if you're not Irish on here. And like I said, it's one of the best ways to show how similar we are is to watch the politics, the culture, and the history of places. You understand what I'm saying? No matter how big and no matter how small. Okay, go ahead and drop a like on this video, and if you're so inclined, go ahead and subscribe. I'll link a playlist of all the Irish videos that I have watched, and it'll pop up on the screen coming up here at the ending of the video, okay? And also, if you want to support the channel, go ahead and, support the channel any way you can. Share the video. That's one way to support the channel. Share the video. The more eyes we get on it, the more eyes we know will understand. That was one people, one love, like Bob Marley say. You all take care of each other, all right? Cool runnings.